What's up, everybody? This is Dr. Zeb, and good morning. Welcome to the Rehab Christian Center virtual experience, and I'm grateful to be here with you today, and thank you so much for tuning in. I'm excited about part two of this awesome series that we started last week. Didn't intend for it to be a series, but it turned into a series. If you're scared, get in my pocket. It's going to be powerful. We are dealing with the story of David and Goliath, and it was such a wonderful lesson and experience last Sunday. And so I'm grateful that you've tuned in this morning to be with us, to share with us. Now, I've got to get through our networks because I do not want to run over Swan like I did last week. I want to try to be mindful of the time today, and hopefully we can get through the rest of this today. Again, a very good lesson, very solid lesson last Sunday. So start sharing. It doesn't matter what network you're on. Start sharing this broadcast. Tell everybody to get on. This is going to be a powerful experience, and I'm excited to be able to teach this message this morning, and certainly know that it's going to be a blessing to somebody. So let's go through the networks. Let's get ready to go through it as we did last week. We are going through this lesson verse by verse, and you all know that I rarely teach like this. Well, I teach like this all the time, but especially in this virtual space, I rarely teach that way. But this lesson merited that because it is a powerful lesson on courage. This is a powerful lesson on courage and fear, and what fear does to you, what fear can do to you. And so I'm excited to share this message this morning. So let's go through our networks. And again, I want you to start sharing this video, liking this video. Do it now so that we can get everybody in the room, get everybody awakened this morning. So that we can get right into it. Good morning, Facebook. Good to see you virtually. Those of you that are tuned in via Facebook, thank you so much for tuning in. If you're tuned in via Facebook, I want you to hit that like button. After you hit the like button, hold it down, turn it to a love button. And then I want you to hit that share button and then tag 5 people. Tag 5 of your friends and tell them to tune in. Hit that @ symbol, tag 5 people, tell them to tune in. Again, Facebook, thank you so much for tuning in. Those of you that are on Facebook, and make sure you say good morning in the chat area. Make sure you say good morning in the chat area. Let us know that you're in the room. Let us know that you're tuned in. And more than that, want you to also invite somebody else to tune in again. If you're scared, get in my pocket. Part 2 is what we're going to deal with today. And what a powerful lesson that we taught last week. And it's going to be just as good this week. And I believe we'll be able to get through it. I just can't make any promises, y'all. I'm going to try my best. All right. So good morning, Facebook. Instagram, good morning to you. It is good to see you virtually. Big shout out to Instagram. We may have had more people on Instagram last week than we had Facebook. It was really packed last week. So good morning to you. If you're on Instagram, good morning. Make sure you say good morning in the chat area. And then after you do that, fill it up with hearts. Let me know you're there. Also, hit the @ symbol. If you're on Instagram, hit the @ symbol. And I want you to tag 5 people and tell them to tune in. If you're on Instagram, hit the @ symbol, tag 5 people and tell them to tune in for part 2 of, again, if you're scared, get in my pocket. It's going to be powerful, and I'm excited to be able to teach it, and grateful, Instagram, to those of you that are tuned in on that network. So again, good morning, Instagram. Instagram's normally my late church, but when they get here and they come strong. So again, y'all start tagging the usual suspects, and start tagging other people that might benefit on this powerful message on fear and courage and how they can certainly impact our lives. All right. So good morning, Instagram. Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in. YouTube, good morning to you. Those of you that are tuned in via YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in. If you are tuned in via YouTube, I want you to, first of all, make sure you subscribe to our channel. You can find us on YouTube. If you've never watched any of our messages on YouTube, you can find us on YouTube at the Rehab CC. Go to the search bar and just type the Rehab CC. All together, no spaces. You'll see our page. Subscribe to our page. Hit that bell notification icon so you can be notified when we go live. And then go back and watch all of the archived messages that are there. And so if you're on YouTube, good morning to you. Thank you so much for tuning in to us this morning on YouTube. Make sure you like this video if you're on YouTube, and then hit that share button. Send this video to your other social media networks, your family, your friends, loved ones. Tell them to tune in. All right. Y'all, I need y'all to invite somebody to church. Let's get going. Because again, I want to jump right into declaration, and then I want to get right into the teaching today. Again, just a very powerful time we had last Sunday. And I promise you, I did not mean for this to be a series. That was not the goal The goal was not for this to be a series, but it was just so many nuggets last week to unpack. And I've got a feeling that this week will be just the same. So many things we have to unpack in this story, or concerning this story, rather, of David and Goliath. And so this is going to be powerful. Make sure that you invite somebody. If you have not done that, make sure you invite somebody, and then get a Bible, cell phone, something, Bible app, something you can pull up this text on, because as I'm teaching this and as you're typing notes in the comments, I want you to follow along. All right, because again, this particular message I am going to do verse by verse, and so I want you to follow along as I'm teaching it. So get your Bible app. If you got a physical Bible still, get that, whatever, but get it so that you can follow along, because this is going to be powerful. And again, as we get ready to get into declaration, I want you to start tagging people, tell them to tune in, tell them to get ready. This is going to be a powerful message again on courage and fear and how they impact our lives. If you're scared, get out of my pocket, part 2, and it's going to be good. Let's go through declaration. If this is your first time tuning in, you may not be familiar with this segment of what we do. We walk through our declaration. We do it every Sunday, and our declaration represents the 5 pillars by which this ministry was created. A lot of people ask, what does REHAB mean? And it's an acronym. It stands for Restore, Evangelize, Hope, Alternatives, Breakthrough. It is the 5 pillars by which we operate as a ministry. And so I always repeat this, go through our declaration every single Sunday. And if you're on Facebook and YouTube, you can see it on your screen. Unfortunately, Instagram doesn't give us that capability. It completely sucks. But I always say, read it and pause so that you can repeat after me. And so let's go through the declaration this morning. Doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're at brunch, if you're just getting up, if you're brushing your teeth, whatever it is. Yes, I said, if you're scared, get out of my pocket. That's part 2. That's what we're dealing with today. Part 2 of that message. And that's the title of the message. Doesn't matter where you are. I want you to follow along with this declaration and repeat it after me. We understand that the power of life and death is connected to the things we say. And not only the things that we say, but the energy by which or behind which we do those things. And so I want you to get ready. What did I say? I said, if you're scared, get out of my pocket. No, get in my pocket. Right. Y'all confusing me. If you're scared, get in my pocket. Get in my pocket, not get out of my pocket. Did I say get out of my pocket? I hope I didn't say get out of my pocket. If you're scared, get in my pocket, part 2. Thank you, Sister Swan. Yeah, so we do the declaration every single week. Yes, it is get in my pocket. It ain't get out. I'm not kicking you out of my pocket. Get in my pocket. All right. And so we repeat the declaration. So I want you to prepare to say this with me. All right. Prepare to say this with me. Passages all over the place. All right. Let's do this. Restore. Say it with me. We declare that everything that is broken, lost, hurt, or destroyed that belongs to us and has been designed by God is restored. My faith is restored. My joy is restored. My mind is restored. Even my lost time is restored. I am no longer broken. The fact that I'm alive means I have another chance. My faith has restored me. And right now, his love is making me whole. Evangelize. Say it with me. We declare that God helped us so we could help somebody else. He loved me when I was unlovable. He changed me when I was a mess. His love lifted me when I was down. I'm not perfect, but I'm free. And anything that came for me can't keep me. Because I'm free, my circle is next. My family is saved. My friends are blessed. My plans are successful. My goals are ahead of schedule. And anything connected to me is blessed, just like me. Hope. Say it with me. We declare that everything that is missing is not lost. In Jesus, I have hope. And this hope makes me confident. It doesn't matter what happens to me or around me. I'm going to win. My relationships are winning. My goals are winning. My family is winning. My neighbor is winning. This city will win, and my row has the victory. My past is defeated, and my future is brighter today than it was yesterday. Alternatives, say it with me. We declare that God made us different. I'm a royal child, the light of the world, and the hope of my city. I respect the past, but I don't look like what I've been through. I love the church, and my life is balanced. I love coming to church, but I like flights, boats, and vacations. My whole life is blessed. I am the head and not the tail. I am above and not beneath. I am a lender, not a borrower. And every place I go belongs to me. Breakthrough. Say it with me. We declare that God has a breakthrough with our name on it. I have some challenges, but I am not defeated. No weapon formed against me can prosper. And I know that all things are working for my good. Things are not breaking down. They are about to break through. There is a breakthrough in my career. There is a breakthrough in my home. There is a breakthrough in my health. There is a breakthrough in my finances. I am here on purpose, for a purpose, and everything that went wrong is getting ready to turn around. Did you make that declaration this morning? If you did, do me a favor. I want you to type it in the comments. We've been saying it since the first Sunday in January, and we're about to go into the 11th month of this year. I want you to type it in the comments now. It's already done. It's already done. Everything concerning your life, everything concerning your family, everything concerning your career, everything concerning your finances, everything concerning your health, everything concerning your wealth, everything concerning your mindset, your peace, your healing. It's already done. I want you to type it in the comments now, quickly. It's already done. It's already done. I need you to proclaim that today, and not just today, but I need you to proclaim that for the rest of this year. We are again on the second half of the year, and we are on the second half of the year, or beyond the second half of the year, and we only have 2 more months left. So I want you to proclaim it now. It's already done. It's already done. Tag somebody. If you have not invited somebody to church this morning, tag them. Put the @ symbol there. Put their name and tell them it's already done. They're going to wake up to the alert and go wonder what's going on. Tune in, and this message is going to bless them. It's already done. I want you to know I am praying for you. I am rooting for you. I believe that God's going to answer your prayers. Wow. What a whole list of prayer requests we received last week. So many people dealing with so many different things. But I want you to know that whatever it is concerning your life, you need God to work out for you. It's already done. God is not slack concerning his promises. Everything he's promised you, everything he has said he would do for you, he's going to do for you. And I just need you to walk in faith today and trust it and believe that it's already done. All right. It's already done. And I'm excited to be here. Now, let's get to it. Let's get to it. I am dealing with part 2 today. Part 2. If you're scared, get in my pocket. Part 2. All right. If you're scared, get in my pocket. Go ahead and put up the topic in the comments so that people that are watching the replay can see it. But if you're scared, get in my pocket. Part 2. I am in 1 Samuel chapter 17, and I'm going to start at verse number 32. All right. 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse number 32. Remember, this particular message, I am teaching verse by verse. All right. So I'm doing this verse by verse. I rarely do this on a virtual setting, but this message was merited that. We've got to go through this verse by verse. So if you got a Bible app, an actual Bible, it doesn't matter. Get it, because I want you to follow along with what I am saying, reading, as well as the points that I'm giving you as you type those in. If you're scared, get in my pocket. This is part 2, and I'm going to be starting at 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse number 32. All right? 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 32. Now, put your pen there, because I want to remind you of what I left you with last week, because what I left you with last week is going to set the stage for what we're going to deal with today. All right. And it's this. Many of you are about to walk into a season of great people. And I don't know if you recall us getting really sidetracked last week dealing with this. But many of you are about to walk into a season of great people. And this is a good thing, because when you are in a season of great people, sometimes if you don't have the courage or the strength to overcome the Goliaths in your life, being connected to the right people is necessary until you get the strength and the courage yourself. And so this is why it's really important, whether it's this season or any other season of your life, that you are incredibly mindful of the people that are in your circle. And not just the people that are in your circle, but that you're incredibly mindful of the people who have your back when you are in tough seasons of your life. There will come a season. This is so important. There will come a season where you will eventually fight a Goliath that's bigger than you, that's stronger than you, that seems to be greater than you. That seems to be the adversary or the nemesis that you can't overcome. And so being connected to the right people, being connected to great people, being connected to strong people really positions you to have the confidence that you need sometimes to be able to overcome these things. Now, again, we talked about encouragement last week, and I'm going to mention this again because it's critically important here. There are some times where when you don't have the strength or courage to overcome things in your life, it's good to be connected to people who help you in that space, right? Who encourage you when you can't encourage yourself, who strengthen you when you can't find the strength on your own, who can push you when you don't have the strength to walk forward, right? You have those times where that's good. Let me tell you, spiritual growth says that if I don't have anybody to push me, if I don't have anybody to increase my courage, if I don't have anybody to increase my faith, spiritual growth says I'm mature enough and strong enough to encourage myself. And that's where I really want all of you to grow. I'm going to be candid with you. I want all of you to grow, because anytime your encouragement is contingent on somebody else, there are going to be days you're going to be disappointed. That's probably worthy of your first note today. Anytime your encouragement is contingent on somebody else, you're going to have disappointing days. You're going to have a lot of days where you are disappointed. If you are waiting on people to encourage you, you're going to have a whole lot of lonely days. If you're waiting on people to tell you you're going to make it, you're going to have a whole lot of disappointed days. If you're waiting on people to tell you everything's going to be all right, there are going to be a whole lot of days where you're going to be let down. And I'm just telling you, it's better for you to start and grow to a place where you learn how to encourage you, and your courage is not contingent on what people do or don't do for you. In other words, you have to, much like David in this story, you have to get comfortable in a season of being by yourself. All right. Again, you have to get comfortable. Here's a second bullet point. Record it. You have to get comfortable in a season of being by yourself. It's so important. You have to get comfortable in a season of being by yourself. I had one of the members text me this week, and we were just crying, laughing at the ignorance of people. And somebody asked her a couple of things about me, and one of the things was, who's taking all these pictures of pastors? Well, I don't go places by myself. When I go there, you have people that work in the restaurants, and I've had so many people that I don't know take pictures of me, and I love it. And but it's funny because I am in a season in my life personally where being by myself is all right, and you've got to be comfortable in that season of being by yourself. Because here's the reality: whether it's friends or it is friendships romantic connections, marriage, whatever you desire for your life. Let me tell you something. You will be of no benefit to nobody if you don't really like you. That's right worthy as well. That's noteworthy as well. You will be of no benefit, no real benefit to anybody if you don't really like you. And the reality is, and some of y'all don't want to say this, but let me just go ahead and go here. Some of your relationships didn't work, not because they were bad people. They didn't work because you didn't really like you. And I'm telling you, if you don't really like you, it's going to be impossible for you to like somebody else. If you don't really like you, it's going to be impossible for you to be a good friend. If you don't like you, it's going to be impossible for you to love somebody else. How are you going to love somebody else and you don't even like you? And so it could be that sometimes God has you in this, what for some of you seems to be an uncomfortable season of being in a silo and being alone, so that you can grow to be comfortable with you, comfortable encouraging yourself, comfortable motivating yourself, comfortable pushing yourself. And y'all are so in a hurry to be connected to people when I'm telling you, oftentimes the greatest blessing God gave you was loneliness. I ain't even in my notes yet, y'all. Are y'all listening to me? Sometimes, record this, I'm giving y'all bullet points all like crazy. Sometimes the greatest gift God has ever given you was the gift called loneliness. And what you call in loneliness really ain't loneliness, because being alone and being lonely are two totally different things. Some of y'all lonely, others of us, we just alone. When you are lonely, that means you ain't handling your aloneness well. When you are alone, that means you accept where you are, but you all right where you are. And see, David is in this whole battle. It's funny. David goes into this whole battle where he's surrounded by a whole lot of people, but he's by himself at the same time. And there will come a season, good gracious, there will come a season. Let me let me lower my voice because I'm screaming. I'm screaming at y'all. I apologize. There will come a season. There will come a season in your life where you will be surrounded by a lot of people and be alone at the same time. Where a lot of people will know you and you will be alone at the same time. Where a lot of people will be connected to you and you will be alone at the same time. Where a lot of people will be around you, but you will be alone at the same time. Do not confuse an audience with support. I'm going to say this again. That's another one. And y'all can put that up as your status, and you don't even have to give me credit. People steal my stuff all the time. Do not confuse an audience with support. Do not confuse an audience with support. You can have people around you and be by yourself. You can have people, you can have family members connected to you and be by yourself. You can literally go everywhere, and everywhere you go, people know you and call you by name, and you still be by yourself. Y'all, don't confuse an audience with support. Just because they're around you don't mean they with you. Just because they're connected to you does not mean they're on your team. So we cannot confuse the two. And David understood this going into this battle, because here he is with these men attempting to rescue and help them. And he ends up in a battle surrounded by a lot of people, but all by himself. All right. And so this is critically important. This is critically important. Embrace this season of aloneness. Right. And again, if you are alone in this season, I want to say this before I get into the text. If you are alone in this season and you are calling this season where you are alone loneliness, you got to check yourself. You got to check your perspective on where God has you. Because the difference, again, between being alone and lonely is perspective. The difference between being alone and lonely is perspective. It's all in how you view where God has you. All right, let's get into it. 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 32. I want you to get it quickly. I can tell now this is going to be really good. 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 32. If you have not invited anybody, I want you to hit that @ symbol, tag 5 people, and tell them to jump on right now. All right? Okay? 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 32. So this is what happens. Verse 32. Don't worry about this Philistine. All right? This is David talking. Verse number 32. 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 32. Don't worry about this Philistine, David told Saul. I'll go fight it. Now, remember, let me just back up just for a little bit, just to give you perspective from last week. Those of you that missed last week, go back and watch the replay because I can't go through all of that. But let me just give you a little bit of perspective of what happened last week. Remember, David asked all of these men. He keeps going around to all the different camps with the men, asking them, what's up with this Goliath thing? Why are y'all afraid? What's going on? And the men are, running through and saying, yeah, anybody beats them, you can get the king's raggedy daughter. You don't have to pay taxes. You get a little bit of money. But everybody was scared. All right. And so David finally in verse number 32 says, don't worry about this Philistine. David told Solomon in verse 32, I'll go fight him. Look at verse number 33. I'm in 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 33. Look at verse number 33. So in verse 33, Saul says, don't be ridiculous. Saul replied, there's no way you can fight this Philistine and possibly win. You're only a boy, and he's been a man of war since his youth. So they call the king on David. David's walking around saying, what's wrong with y'all? Why y'all scared? The men just whatever. So they call Saul on David, and Saul calls for David to see David. David goes to the king and tells Saul, listen, y'all scared. I'm going to go fight Goliath. Saul tells David, don't be ridiculous. You can't fight him. You can't beat him. You're only a boy, and he's been a man of war since his youth. I want you to record this, and this is so important. Stop taking advice from scary people. Uh-oh, white meat alert. I'm telling y'all what's coming. I'm warning you now. Stop taking advice from scary people. We talked a little bit about this last week. I'm getting ready to go a little bit deeper. Stop taking advice from scary people. I'm talking to y'all. Stop. Some of you have not gone back to school because you're listening to scary people who keep telling you stuff like you're too old to go. Some of you are going to die single. I hate to break the news to you. Some of you are going to die single because you are taking advice from scary people. Some of you will never start the business you desire, and you're going to have to sit there and watch somebody take your idea, start the business and do well, and then you're going to be living with a whole bunch of what ifs. Why? Because you take advice from scary people. Some of you are going to stay in miserable relationships because you are taking advice from scary people. Child, these streets raggedy. You better stay where you are. Let me tell you something. The streets are raggedy. But if your relationship raggedy, what you got to lose? Stop taking advice from scary people. Y'all stop. I don't mean no harm. I'll listen to just about anybody, but I don't hear everybody. Did y'all hear what I said? I'll listen to just about anybody, but I don't hear everybody. There's a big difference between listening to you and hearing you. Now, let me take that back because I think I got it in reverse. I will hear everybody. I don't listen to everybody. I just don't. I think I got that backwards, Swan. I apologize. But I believe, Swan, you got my point. I'll hear everybody. Like, I hear you. But I ain't listening to everybody. I refuse to listen to everybody. You know why? Because I need people around me who have the kind of courage that I have. And if I don't have it, I don't need them telling me what I can't do. I don't need me telling me what is not possible. I don't hear them telling me what I cannot move forward into. And that's the problem with some of y'all. Some of y'all going to die in your hometown. You're going to die in your hometown because your raggedy family told you, don't nobody leave our hometown. We all stay here. and you got other opportunities in larger places, and you ain't got no support there, and you letting them talk you out of moving and relocating and going to a bigger city with more opportunities that align with your career, that align with your field, and you're going to miss out on the life you could have because you're scary and you're listening to scary people. I said what I meant. I ain't going to stop. I said what I meant. Y'all better stop. You're scary. Well, man, I don't know if I would go there with her, man, because, man, you're gonna have some challenges with family. You're gonna have some chat, their family, this and that. You're not dating and marrying her family. When this relationship series comes, I'm gonna try to break the internet. Are y'all listening to me? And so some of y'all gonna die single and scary and passing up opportunities. Why? Because you're afraid. And you listen to scary people. And not only you listen to scary people, here's the second thing that I want you to record along this vein, because this is important. You're going to know you listen to the wrong people when the people that you're listening to start telling you every reason why you can't instead of telling you every reason why you can. Saul didn't say to him, David, you're young, but you're strong. You're a hard worker. You got courage. Go on out there and fight him. Saul starts giving David every reason why he can't beat a Goliath. Every reason why he cannot overcome the giant. When you are connected to the wrong people, they will give you more reasons why you can't than reasons why you can. Are y'all listening to me? When you are connected to the wrong people, this is point worthy. When you are connected to the wrong people, they will give you every reason why you can't instead of every reason why you can. Now, I'm not talking about not digging into ideas. I've got a staff that I manage in my professional life, and I've got other things that I do. And so when I have ideas, I have people that I bounce these things off of, not for them to just be in full agreement with me. That ain't the point. I bounce these things off of them because as friends or family or whatever they are, my expectation is that they will tell me the truth. Yep, Zeb, this is a great idea. Nope, Dr. Zeb, that's a horrible idea. Nope, Pastor, that's a great idea. Yes, Dr. Zeb, I like it, but you ought to think about this. Right? So I'm not talking about people not giving you honest advice and feedback and shooting holes into what it is you're trying to do to ensure that whatever you do is good. I'm not talking about that. But I'm talking about those of you that are connected to people who always tell you what you can't do. The negative Nancy's, the petty Pauls. I'm talking about those folks who always tell you what you can't do, who always tell you how it ain't gonna work. And not only that, they focus on that. You gotta watch out. Record this now. This is so good to me. You gotta watch out for people with a spirit of negativity. Y'all not recording. You've got to watch out for people with a spirit of negativity. I mean, literally, there's always something wrong. There's always something not right. There's always something they got a problem with. There's always something they complain about. There's always something they don't like. There's always somebody they don't like. There's always something they would do different. There's always a way they would approach it different. I'm talking about negative, mad Karens. Some of y'all got so many Karens in your life that you will never be able to accomplish anything because they always, and I mean with all the S's Swan put in the note, they always got something bad to say. It's always something negative. And you got to move yourself and remove yourself from people like that. You have to, because if not, if you are always connected to people with that spirit of negativity, you will never be able to accomplish anything in your life. And so David is a more interesting person because he has all of these people right? So all of these men of war that are older than him, that are stronger than him, that are all of this stuff than him, that have been fighting longer than him, he's got all of these people around him, they scared. He goes to the king tells him everything he can't do. But look at verse number 34. This right here, if I had an organist, this right here is hollow worthy. 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 34. After Saul tells him in verse 33 that he can't do it, look at what David said in verse 34, the first three words. But David persisted. That's a whole different message by itself. But David persisted. I'm in the New Living Translation, so you can see it the way I see it. But David persisted. He continues. I have been taking care of my father's sheep and goats, he said. When a lion or a bear comes to steal a lamb from the flock, look at verse 35. I go after it with a club and I rescue the lamb from its mouth. If the animal turns on me, I catch it by the jaw and club it to death. Look at verse 36. I have done this to both lions and bears, and I'll do it to this pagan Philistine too, for he has defied the armies of the living God. Now watch this. This right here, the point that I'm about to make, because I'm about to jump out of my seat, okay? Because but David persisted is a word. Like, I think I need to really highlight that because I might just have to preach that a day. But David persisted. Like, listen, this thing is good. David says, listen, I don't have experience fighting no giant. I ain't never done it. He said, but I tell you what I have done. When my daddy had me out in the field and I was working and a bear would try to come out or a lion would try to come out and steal, attack an animal or mess up our crops or steal a lamb, I would get my club and I'd beat it to death. And this is David talking. So my thinking is, if I did that with a lion, a tiger, and a bear, then I can handle a Philistine. This point that I'm about to give y'all is for all of you that have been thinking about making moves, but you ain't got no experience. You ready? I want you to record this. You ready? Don't let what you have not done stop you from doing what you want to do. Don't let what you have not done, this is a whole word, stop you from doing what you want to do. Don't let what you have not done stop you from doing or going after what you want to do. Some of y'all, let me tell y'all, look, is experience important? Yes. Experience is important. Don't minimize what I'm about to say, okay? And let me just say this so you don't do it. Is experience important? Yes. Experience is important. And in certain circles, certain veins, certain situations, conditions, experience is everything, without a doubt. A 16-year-old driver, and in most cases, depending on what city you live in, a 30-year-old driver are two totally different drivers. A 30-year-old driver will be more experienced and seasoned, again, depending on what city you live in, than a 16-year-old driver. I was about to say something real ignorant. Women just can't drive, but that's a different conversation, different day. I don't want to make y'all mad. See the bull's eyes starting to come at me. Y'all women just can't drive. I don't know what it is. It's just ain't in y'all's DNA. Oh, I'm going to hear about this later. A 16-year-old driver, 30-year-old driver, some of y'all like, I know Pastor didn't. 16-year-old driver, 30-year-old driver, two totally different drivers, right? They telling me to log off. Here come the roll, and I knew it. A 16-year-old driver, a 30-year-old driver, and finally some hearts from probably the handful of guys I got on the call. Amen. I know y'all ain't bold enough to say it. I'm like, I'll say it. I don't care. I ain't scared of y'all. Uh, don't y'all sidetrack me. Y'all leave me alone. Stop. Thank you, Dr. Vance. Dr. Vance says, as womanist as I am, I don't disagree. Y'all can't drive. I don't know what's wrong with y'all. Y'all just can't drive. You can't drive. But anyway, I'm not going to fool with y'all. A 16-year-old driver, a 30-year-old driver are two different drivers, right? If we think about the maturity and the experience that a 16-year-old driver, I'm still getting emojis, y'all, that a 16-year-old driver and a 30-year-old driver has, it's two totally different things, right? So in some veins, experience matters. But let me tell y'all this. Experience, y'all, is overrated. In many cases, experience is overrated. It's overrated. I can't tell you the number of things I have personally been successful in my life that I pursued and I had no experience. None. All I had was a little bit of common sense, a work ethic. Here's the big one. No fear. Let me tell you something. When you don't have fear and you got courage, the absence of fear, the presence of courage can overcome experience. I want you to record that. The absence of fear, the presence of courage can overcome experience. The absence of fear, the presence of courage can overcome experience. What you don't have experience in, if there's no fear present and you got courage, you can still be successful. This is why some of you need to pursue those promotions you want to go after. Yeah, your experience might not be a perfect fit, but you got some common sense, you're smart, you got some experience, you got some work experience, you got some transferable skills. You know, one of my real careers is also, career coaching. I do that as well. I'm licensed to do it. And you got transferable skills. You may not have never, ever worked as a nurse, but you may have worked in other fields where the skills are transferable to what you want to do. Pursue it. Pursue it. Take the skills you have, pursue it, and let fear not be present, and let courage get in the front seat. Because I'm telling you, some of y'all have walked away from opportunities, walked away from chances to do great things because you didn't have experience. I can't do this because I don't have experience. And the easiest example I can think of is starting a business. Because most people, unless there is entrepreneurship in your family, most people don't start businesses. When they start businesses for the first time, they are doing it for the first time. Like they don't have experience starting a business. And if you've never started a business before, it is unlike anything you've ever done. Normally, if you've never started or you've never worked for somebody who has, you don't have to experience exposure. It's unlike anything you've ever done. So fear can't be present and courage has to be in the front seat. But not having experience is not an excuse. Not having an experience is not an excuse not to start the business. Not having experience is not an excuse to get on a plane and go to a new city and try something different. It's not an excuse. You got to stop being scared. You got to stop listening to scary people. And you got to stop allowing the lack of experience to be the thing that drives you to not do what you want to do. It's no excuse. It sounds good, but it's no excuse. I like that. She said, your good spirit is what matters sometimes. It attracts people and things to you. Absolutely. Right? It is your spirit, it is your energy, right? Listen, I got a lot of first generation church folks on my call, like people that tune in that don't really do church like that, right? So Rehab is their church. So I have to make this clear. When I say energy, people don't understand spirit, right? Having the right spirit. A lot of times they don't understand that. They understand energy. Energy and spirit are the same thing. Now, I'm not going to turn this into a Zeb the Third TED Talk, but energy and spirit are the same thing. And religious people get mad when you use the word energy. I don't know why. Energy and spirit are the same thing. When your energy is off, your spirit is off. It's the same thing, right? So having good energy or having a good spirit will attract great things to you. It will manifest great things in your life. And so instead of you worrying about experience, why don't you worry about keeping your energy good? Instead of you worrying about how many degrees you have, why don't you worry about keeping your spirit right? Because if you keep your spirit pure and good, and you are approachable, and people enjoy being around you, people enjoy being connected to you. Let me tell you something. Having a good spirit and good energy, good energy will attract wins and bring in wins that your experience can't handle. There are some wins. Let me say it another way, because I'm probably not saying this good. There are some wins that I've had in my life that had nothing to do with my experience and had everything to do with my energy. That had everything to do with my spirit. There are some things that people did for me, my family, my ministry, my career, me personally. There are things that people have done and continue to do to this day. Like this week was oozing with people just doing stuff for me. I can't explain it. I ain't asked nobody for nothing. But I'm here to tell you personally that when your spirit or your energy is right, even when you don't have experience in certain areas, even when you don't have the finances to do certain things, you will attract great things to you that your experience could not do for you, that your resources could not do for you. I know we use the word network, and that's cool. But even a good spirit and good energy is bigger than your network. I don't have the biggest network. I know a lot of people. I know a lot of important people. A lot of important people know me, but I don't even lean in that space. I don't be snoozing in green rooms. Like, I don't really care about that, because I'm a firm believer of this, that when your energy and spirit is right, God will literally position you and put you around the people you need to be around for you to get everything that you need to get. Some of y'all so busy trying to make a connection instead of trying to have good energy. That's a word. Y'all better record it. Instead of focusing on connections, focus on your spirit. Focus on your energy. Because let me tell you something. You can have the right connections and people can open up doors and create opportunities for you. But if your energy is off, you ain't going to be there long. You're not. You're not going to be there long. The opportunity is not going to last long. The door is not going to stay open. So instead of y'all trying to meet people, some of y'all be knocking folks over, trying to meet people and trying to get in front of people and trying to get people to know your name, trying to get people to know who you are and all of this stuff. You worse than the mixtape guy. You worse than mixtape guy at a rap concert. I mean, you literally knocking folks at, hey, listen to my tape, listen to my tape. Listen, instead of trying to do all of that, focus on having the right spirit. Focus on having good energy. Focus on, and when you do, you will pull that all to you. You ain't got to go looking for the network. Guess what? I'm a living witness. The network will come looking for you. Y'all, I could spend the whole broadcast talking about the opportunities in the last 2 weeks that have found me. I ain't been looking for nobody. All I've been doing is posting selfies, talking junk, drinking water, reading, studying, going to work, staying focused on my purpose and minding my business. That's it. Ain't bothering nobody. When you have good energy, you got a good spirit, opportunities will find you. Y'all stop trying to focus on connections and being a name dropper. I was talking to one of the ministers yesterday, and we were having a really good conversation. Was talking about that. Like, people are so interested in this day and time in being known instead of having substance. No, focus on your substance. Focus on what you know. Focus on your content. Focus on your purpose. Focus on your energy and your spirit. Focus on your demeanor. Focus on your character. Focus on that stuff and stop knocking folks over for an opportunity. And when you do, people will find you. Everything you need is going to find you. You ain't got to look for it. You ain't got to do nothing crazy to get the opportunity. You ain't got to sleep with nobody to get it. You don't have to be nobody's sneaky link to get it. You can just be who you are, have the right spirit, the right energy, and opportunities will find you. Are y'all listening to the old man? All right, look at this. Verse 30, verse 37, because I don't think I read all of verse 37. I'm just catching that. 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 37. I got to hurry up because I really want to try to finish today. 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 37. Let me reread the first part and read it all the way through. The Lord who rescued me from the claws of the lion and the bear will rescue me from this Philistine. Second part of verse 37 says this. Saul finally consented. So David convinces Saul. Saul finally consented. All right, go ahead, he said, and may the Lord be with you. Right? So David has to convince Saul, the king, who initially told him everything he can't do. I can handle this. Saul, the king, consents. And then David gets ready for battle. Now, I don't want to spend a lot of time here, but it's important to say this. I don't want to get lost here on this point or take a lot of time on this point, but this point is very important. Y'all notice something that David didn't do. Let me show y'all what David didn't do. David didn't hear Saul tell him what he couldn't do. And then David run out the office and say, well, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm about to get in trouble right here. I'm going to get in trouble. David didn't hear Saul's argument. Hey, you can't do this. You ain't got the experience to do this. And David just take it upon himself to just go do it without Saul's blessing. What David did is he demonstrated a very important tenet of leadership. And that is you can't lead nobody until you can learn how to listen. Saul gave him a horrible response. You're a little boy. You ain't no man of war like this guy. Gave him a horrible response. And David could have took that, got an attitude and left. But you know what David did? As a young boy, David had the maturity to understand something I don't want none of y'all to miss. You ready? I don't even care if you don't like your leaders. This go for church. This go for work. It don't matter what circle you're in where you have to report to somebody. I don't care if you don't like your leader. Let me tell you something. You don't deserve to lead nobody until you can listen to them. Oh, y'all don't want to talk now. Not this generation don't want to hear nobody, especially if you don't agree with them. See, because you thought leadership was about being in agreement. It's not. David didn't agree with Saul. Leadership ain't about agreeing with your leader. Having a leader is not about agreeing with your leader. Having a leader is not about your leader seeing it your way. Because guess what? Sometimes they're going to see it your way. A lot of times they are not. Being under a leader, whether it's spiritually, at work, or wherever, being under a leader is about having the maturity to be able to function when there's disagreement. Some of y'all need to stop being so passive aggressive. I ain't got time to deal with this. But some of y'all need to stop being so passive aggressive, because when people get on you or leaders correct you, church leaders, your supervisor, your manager, your CEO, your boss, your husband, your wife, whoever, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, when people correct some of y'all, instead of you learning how to work through disagreement in a mature way, you get passive aggressive. You get quiet. You take your ball and you go home because you don't want to play no more. Oh, y'all quiet in here. Y'all quiet. Oh, well, pastor told me I can't do this. I ain't coming back. Rehab, y'all know I'm telling the truth. If you are a member of Rehab and you have physically been in our church building before, you have heard me teach this before. Some of y'all, boy, I can tell when I'm dealing with spiritually mature people, because I can correct you and you still saying, hey, pastor. And you still smile and laugh, and she know I'm telling the truth. You said, hey, pastor. Some of y'all I correct, it be weeks. I don't hear from y'all. Be months. I don't hear from y'all. When I do hear from you, you short. Your text message is dry. you ain't got nothing to say. You know, I'd be like, hey, how you doing, brother, such. And you reply back with K. Y'all got to stop being passive aggressive. David could have got passive aggressive with Saul. And see, I'm going to do a message on passive aggressiveness soon, because passive aggressiveness is dangerous. David could have got passive aggressive with Saul, got arrogant, got in his feelings, but he didn't. He didn't like Saul's initial response, but David stuck to his guns and was able to even convince the king because he had maturity. You can convince leadership with maturity. Whether the leader is a good leader, a bad leader, if a leader is any kind of a leader at all, they will respond to maturity. They normally don't respond to feelings. They normally don't respond to heavy emotion. Y'all don't like this. A strong leader rarely responds to a bunch of feelings and emotions. Rarely. It doesn't mean you can't be emotional around a leader. It doesn't mean you can't be emotional around your supervisor or your manager. But at the end of the day, if you are emotional around your supervisor or manager will listen to you. They will hear you. But at the end of the day, your supervisor or manager is going to make a decision in the best interest of that organization. Y'all don't like this. A supervisor has to manage your department, not based on how much y'all crying, but based on the work that's got to get done. They rarely respond to emotions. They might give you some tissue. They might give you the rest of the day off. Y'all don't like this kind of leadership talk. Y'all, they might give you the rest of the day off, but y'all got to stop crying at work. Stop crying at work. If you're having a moment where you're about to cry at work, get in your car. I've been there, done that. Where I've been so hot where I had to get in my car to just cool off. Okay? Get in your car, cut the air on, read, meditate, do what you do. But y'all stop crying at work, because emotions don't move supervisors and managers. It don't. If your manager get on you, stop crying. Take the criticism. And if you disagree and you got facts, like David had facts to disagree with your supervisor, disagree and do it in a mature way. Because let this be an example. Saul wasn't the best king. He wasn't. Saul was not. And again, I don't have time to really deal with this. I knew I was going to get down a rabbit hole here. Saul was not the best king, because there's so many different things we can unpack with this. Saul was not the best king, but let me tell you something that he was. Let this be proof that you don't even have to be the best king. Maturity will get through the leadership. You got to be emotionally centered. I want y'all to record this. You have to be emotionally centered. Y'all quiet. You gotta grow to be emotionally centered. I'm not saying don't cry. Don't y'all take this out of context. I'm not saying don't cry. I'm not saying you can't be emotional over certain things. But what I am saying is, when it comes to your work and your purpose, when it does come to you responding to other people and responding to leaders, you got to be emotionally centered. You got to be right in the middle. You can't be so emotional and no logic. You can't be so logic that you're so stiff and you can't feel people's emotions. You got to be in the middle. And see, that's where we mess up. Most people are either logic, no emotion. And you kind of people don't nobody want to work with you. Don't nobody want to be around with you. You're normally mean as I don't know what. You're normally hard to be around, function around. Don't nobody want to be with you at work. Don't nobody want to be in your group at church. Because, I mean, you logic and everything with you is common sense, but no emotion, no feeling for people. Right? So that's a bad boat to be in. Or you're on the other boat. You're emotion. But supervisor, I feel like this. But manager, I feel like this. But pastor, I feel like this. You feel, and no logic. And you can't be that. You have to be emotionally centered. And being centered says that I can feel both sides, but I can ride in the middle so that I can be effective at what I do. Does that make sense to y'all? I didn't mean to spend that much time, but it was important. Look at verse 38. I got to hurry because y'all don't want a part 3. I've got to hurry this. Ooh, I got 11 verses to get through. So let me do a lot of reading. Look at verse 38. 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 38. If this is blessing you, fill it up with hearts. If you have not tagged anybody and invited anybody to tune in, I want you to tag 5 people quickly. Hurry up, because we got 11 verses. We're going to get through this. Look at verse 38. 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 38. Look at this. Then Saul gave David his own armor, a bronze helmet, and a coat of mail. David put it on, strapped the sword over it, and took a step or two to see what it was like, for he had never worn such things before. I can't go in these, he protested to Saul. I'm not used to them. So David took them off again. There's just so many things to unpack here. I'm trying to rush. I know I might have to do a part 3 because there's so much to unpack. Y'all, listen. The very person who doubted David turned around and gave him his armor to use in war. Y'all ready for a word? The very person that doubted David turned around and gave him his own armor to use. So Saul went from, you can't do it, here are the reasons you can't do it, to, I'm giving you my blessings to do it. Okay? I'm giving you my blessings to do it. Oh, and here's my armor. Go take this and fight him. Y'all want a word? Y'all ready? Y'all want a word? When you walk in courage, even the people that don't believe in you will try to help you. I'm a living witness. When you walk in courage, even the people who didn't believe in you will stop and try to help you. Are y'all listening to me? It's quiet. The comments have stopped. When you walk in courage, even the people who did not believe in you will stop and try to help you. Y'all have no idea how many times I have been helped by the same people who didn't believe in me. You gonna know, man, this is a whole word. You gonna know you hit the sweet spot. You gonna know you hit your stride in your business, your life, your ministry, your family, your relationships, your whatevers. You're going to know you hit your stride when the very people who didn't believe in you stop and try to help you. Sometimes I have been so shocked by the people trying to help me because I didn't know if they were there to help me or to fight me. That probably don't make sense to half of y'all. But some of us know exactly what I'm talking about. Where you have had people that didn't believe in you, literally didn't believe in you, didn't like you, hated on you, whatever. And all of a sudden, out the blue, they giving you suggestions and trying to help you. Where'd that come from? Let me tell you why. Because when you walk in real courage, zero fear, you ain't hiding in nobody's pocket, but you walk in real courage, even the people who question you will be convicted and have to stop and figure out a way they can try to help you. I got a word for y'all. And this word will make you shout. You ready? Some of y'all need to get ready because you're about to walk into a season where the people who counted you out are getting ready to bless you. Let me just let that sit for a while. You might want to record that. Some of you are about to walk into a season where the people who counted you out are getting ready to bless you. Y'all stop trying to get back at them. Stop trying to go tit for tat with them. And look, don't be passive aggressive. Yeah, they did you wrong. They count you out. They hated on you. They told other people you wouldn't be able to do it. They ran your name down to other people. That's fine. When they come back to help you, let them help you. Because they got to come back. This is Bible. You can't be surprised when they come back. How do you know? David, this same writer said, God's going to prepare a table before you. Who's going to sit there? He's going to prepare a table before you. Who's going to be sitting? In the presence of your enemies. Let me help you. You can't have a table of your enemies set up. You can't have a table prepared with your enemies set up unless you allow your enemies to come back and bless you. Some of y'all are about to go into a season called a spiritual potluck. I don't like potlucks because people with cats be bringing food and the cats be all on the tables and stuff. I don't like potlucks, but catch the analogy. You're about to go into a season of spiritual potlucks where literally your enemies are going to show up and they're not coming empty-handed. That's a word. Your enemies are going to show up and they ain't coming empty-handed. Yeah, I'm just writing. I'm recording notes myself. Your enemies are going to show up and they're not coming empty-handed. You're about to walk into a season where the people who counted you out are getting ready to bless you. And literally, this is the case with David. The very man who didn't believe in him was the very man that turned around and said, listen, take my armor, man. Go do what you do. I love it. Uzo, I love it. I love it when the same people who counted me out turn around and be like, how can I help you? Y'all, the last 2 weeks, I can't count the number of people who have been hitting my line, been hitting my email, who didn't even believe in me. And now all of a sudden want to know how they can help me. And you know what? I could have been ignorant and said, no, you ain't want to help me then. You can't help me now. What you got? As long as you ain't cooking with no cats, what you got? Because that's how God works. When you operate in courage, when you operate with no fear, God uses the same people who counted you out to turn around and bless you. And God's about to use the same people that counted some of y'all out to turn around and bless you. I like that, Ash, because that's my new word, tuh. I don't know where I got it from. I catch myself the other day talking to a student. We were having a very similar conversation. In fact, the student is about to start get into real estate and was talking about where she came from and family members who didn't believe she could do this and was trying to get her not to do this. And and I didn't mess around, Swan, and caught myself. I said, number one, it don't matter what your family believe about you and what you can do. It don't matter where you came from. If your family members ain't paying your bills, you ain't got nothing to worry about. And then I had to catch myself. I said, listen, baby, let me name for you the things I did and that I've accomplished that people thought I couldn't do. And then I caught myself and said, tough. What's wrong with me? Something's wrong with me. You know what I'm saying? Tuh is my new word. I wish I thought. I love it when people count me out because it be the same people who count you out who have to turn around and then be like, look, let me help you. And listen, spiritual growth. Let me say this good. Spiritual growth is not throwing them shade when they come back. See, yeah, it's going to be a part 3 because I got to deal with this right here. I got to deal. I got to deal with the spirit of petty real quick, just real quick. Pastor knew he was growing. Go back and see that example. Rewind the tape. Go back and see that example or listen to that example. That yeah, new t-shirt alert for sure. Tough. It's definitely going to be on there because I had to even catch myself this week. Go back to the example where remember Tip said somebody said who taking all these pictures of Pastor when he out. Like people don't be in restaurants. Like y'all foolish. Number one. Number two, I will never explain things to people who don't pay my bills. That's number 2. But number 3, and most importantly, I had to really praise myself for the spiritual growth because I wanted to be real petty. I mean, have y'all ever wanted to be petty and can be petty, but found yourself taking the high road? Listen, y'all, that's when you know you're growing. Because see, David could have been petty. Saul could have offered David the armor, and David would been like, "No, I don't want your raggedy armor. Remember you said I couldn't fight? Keep your raggedy armor, and then I'm gonna show you something." That's how some of y'all respond. Nah, I don't want people. Your enemies try to come back to you and be a blessing to you, and instead of you taking it, you get petty. No, sis. No, don't hit me. Don't hit me with that energy now. Keep that same energy. Keep that same energy you had when you had attitude. Let's just keep that same energy. And listen, let me tell y'all, I'm trying to help y'all. You gotta spiritually mature. And then listen, Pastor, I ain't just preaching to y'all. I'm preaching to myself right here. I'm preaching to myself. And she's right. Because when you spiritually mature, the crazy thing is you think being petty feels better. The crazy thing is when you spiritually mature, it actually feels great to have an enemy come back to you and you ain't even mad. You don't even take it personal. They want to help you. You don't even give them an attitude back. You be like, sure. And it be from a sincere place. You have a sincere smile on your face. You ain't trying to shoot them with petty shots. You know, sure, no problem. You want to help out? You want me to take your armor? Sure, I'll try it on. I appreciate that. That's growth. And some of y'all got to grow up and stop being so dang on petty. Y'all don't like this. I know Rehab got a lot of petty members. You know why? Because your pastor, your pastor could have had a PhD in being petty. I'm just being honest. Nobody can taunt the people like me. And I'm not bragging. I'm being honest. Everybody got that thing, right? Everybody got that thing. I'm being honest. So I know I'm telling the truth. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. Completely unbothered in real life. When I say that, I don't be playing. Like, I really had to pray for the spirit of petty when I started rehab. And they'll tell you, I don't know what it is, but taunting the people is easy. So I'm just not preaching to y'all. I'm preaching to all of us. When God sends your enemy back to you, have the maturity to receive them. And the Lord really spoke this to me this week. You know, the buzz is really getting out about us and relaunching and things like that, and the format and breaking tradition and doing all of this stuff. He said, TJ said, I got a PhD in Savage. Some of y'all do have a PhD in Savage. You know, breaking these traditions and really being innovative in what we do. The buzz is getting out of people. And the Lord spoke to me. And I'm going to tell you what he said to me. I'm not going to tell you what he said to y'all. He spoke to me and he said, Zeb, things are going to be well. Things are going to go great. But make sure your spirit is right to receive the people who didn't believe you. Did y'all hear what I said? He said, make sure your spirit is right to receive the people who didn't believe you. Because see, that's what we do. We get petty. People don't believe in us. And then we win. They come back. And instead of us being mature, we stick it to them. No, don't say congratulations now, sis. No, bruh. Don't say congratulations now. No. And the Lord spoke that to me. He said, Zeb, you're going to win. But when they come back, be mature. Swan, they don't like this kind of word. See, y'all think every time God talk, he talking about houses, cars, clothes, and money and relationships. No, sometimes he tell you to check your maturity. That's what he does. And the Lord spoke that to me. He said, when this thing pop off, it's going to pop off. And you got folk flying in from Atlanta and New York and all these places coming in to visit you once a month or once every couple of months. And this stuff is booming. Be mature. Don't get on social media, nanny boo-booing folks. I'm telling you what the Lord spoke to me. Huh? Because there was a day. There was a day where literally I would be like, ain't no need of y'all coming now. You ain't come. You ain't think it's gonna work. Get out. I'm being honest with y'all. Can Pastor be honest? So we gotta check the spirit of petty and not let pettiness cause us to miss the blessing and the bigger picture, right? I want you to move into this season of being the bigger person. Let me see who's got the guts and the courage to type this. If you need to be the bigger person in your life, If there are areas of your life where you need to be the bigger person, I want you to type in the comments right now, I need to be the bigger person. Okay, ain't nobody, it's a no judgment zone. Somebody need to type it for pastor. Pastor needs to be the bigger person. Ain't no judgment zone here. If I'm talking to you and this word is clicking with you, I want you to type in the comments now. If there's some areas of your life where you need to be the bigger person, put in the comments, I need to be the bigger person. It's the truth. We all have been there, where people have stuck it to us and we wanted to stick it back. People have counted us out, we won, and we wanted to remind them of how they counted us out. You got to be the bigger person, y'all. You have to be the bigger person. Somebody say the Mike Jones spirit. It's the truth. You got to be the bigger person, because some of us are going to miss out. This is such a word. You can't have a table set before you in the presence of your enemies if you're not a bigger person, because they got to sit where you sitting. You got to have a conversation with them. You got to talk to them. You got to engage with them. You got to be cordial with them. Sincerely cordial. Y'all, we got to be the bigger person. You got to grow up. I like that, Sister Anita. Sister Anita put her name on it. I need to be the bigger person. Grow up, Anita. That's our pastor be talking. Because I'm telling y'all, God spoke that to me clear as day. And I know he ain't just speaking for me. It was a reminder to me, but I know it was a reminder for some of y'all that when some of you win in this season, after people have counted you out, I laughed. I spent about an hour on the phone with our drummer. I think it was last week. We were talking about some things in his life, and he was sharing some things about me and this things he was, asking about church, things he was hearing. Pastor Zeb ain't gonna open church, and I was laughing. I was like, let people say what they want to say. And then, but the Lord really stuck it to me. He said, "Listen, boy, this thing's gonna be good. You're about to walk in unwalked territory. But let me tell you something. When it's great, be mature. Don't be petty." Pastor's preaching to himself. Don't be petty. Don't be immature. Don't tell people where they can go and how they can get there, because they ain't believe in you. Don't tell people to kiss the bottom of your shoe. Don't do it. Be mature. And welcome the same people who counted you out. They didn't know no better. That's got to be the take y'all have to take. You have to be mature, and you can't be petty. All right. Let me get into this is a good place to stop. This is a good place to stop, because in verse 40, he picks up the stones and he heads to the Philistines. So let's stop here. We're going to pick up at 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 40 next week. All right. I will do a part 3. I didn't want to, y'all. I'm sorry. I mean, it's 10:30. I can't. Time really goes by fast. I'm sorry. I really didn't mean for it to be this long. But you see all the nuggets in this David and Goliath story? Where's Sonay at this morning? Nick, get Sonay. Tell her to watch the replay. You see all of these nuggets in this text? Y'all, we got to be the bigger person. David could not, thank you. I need that reminder, that bookmark, Sister Swan. David could not be the bigger person if he would have acted ignorantly towards Saul for not believing in him. You got to take that road called the highway. I like that, moderators. You got to take that road called the highway. There's a road that all of us got to travel down regularly. It's called the high road. And if David would have been petty with Saul, it's a good chance he could have gone to this battle and lost this battle being petty. And see, many of us don't even realize. Many of us don't even realize this. Dr. Van said, we all manifest in part 3, right? Y'all put this on me. Right? Some of us don't even realize that there are some things in our future that will fail because of how you have handled people who had to come back to you. Y'all, look, y'all, stop giving folk your foot to kiss when they apologize. This ain't even in my notes, but I'm feeling led now. Stop giving people your foot to kiss when they apologize. Stop making them apologize 15 times. No, you heard them the first time. And if they were sincere, take that apology and move on. Some of y'all, I'll get back to you. Thank you for the apology. I'll get back to you and let you know. What you gonna do? Get back to them and let them know what? You gotta take the high road, y'all. Stop being petty. When God sends your enemies back to you, you got to be mature to receive them. Now, let me help y'all. Y'all want another word? I'm gonna wrap this up. Y'all want another word? The reason why God has not sent some of your enemies back to you to apologize is because he knows you're not prepared to receive them. The reason why God ain't sent your enemies back and he prepared a table before you in the presence of your enemies, because he knows you might put something in their food while y'all sitting there eating. The reason why it could be that God has not sent back your enemies to apologize to you is because he knows you don't have the maturity to accept the apology. That's a whole word. Because see, we run our mouth about our enemies. God gonna do this for our enemies, and he gonna make our enemies come back. But have you asked God to check your attitude so you can receive them when they come? Because if you have not asked God to check your attitude so you can receive them when they come, guess what? They ain't on the way, sis. Your enemies are not on the way. You can pray all day for God to send your enemies. What you need to do is shift the prayer. Stop asking them to send your enemies back for an apology and ask God to fix your attitude. Ask God to fix your maturity. Ask God to fix your perspective so that when he fixes you and they show up, you don't ruin it. You don't start a fight. So you don't start another whole argument and make what the beef that was worse. Some of y'all gonna make the beef you got with your enemies worse because when they come, you ain't gonna be prepared for them. Let me just log off. Are y'all listening to the old man? Some of you gonna make the beef with your enemies worse because if they show up and God allows them to show up and you ain't ready, you're gonna be real immature at the table. You're gonna be real petty at the table. You're gonna be real petty. So God said, listen, this whole table, I want to prepare for you in the presence of your enemies. Right now, we can't have a cookout. We'll have a cookout when you get your attitude together. And this is why some of your enemies have not apologized. This is why some of your enemies who did you wrong, some of the people who did you wrong have not come back to make it right because your attitude ain't right. I quit. Y'all, let's pray. Oh, y'all didn't like that, did you? Y'all didn't like that. But that's why some of your enemies have not come back to apologize to you because your attitude ain't right. Your demeanor ain't right. Your posture ain't right. And ain't no need of God sending them back to you and creating another whole argument and a fight. You want to be blessed in the presence of your enemies? Fix your attitude so when they come, you can hug them and you mean that. Y'all, I have hugged enemies. I have been on counseling calls with enemies, folk that I know don't like me. And this even multiplied when you're a manager. You manage people that don't like you, or you pastor people, Lord, that don't like you. I actually pastor people that can't stand me. Now, I don't know why they keep coming back, but I actually pastor people who can't stand. And maturity is having counseling sessions with folks that you know can't stand you. Because see, when you operate in that vein, then your enemies I be having enemies hit me up trying to help me all the time. Apologizing all the time, giving me money all the time. You know why? Because when your attitude is right, God sends them back to you. And you know why he sends them back to you? He sends them back to you because he knows your spirit, your energy is going to be a representation of who he is. I quit. See, God will send your enemies back to you when he knows your energy is going to be a representation of who he is. And until then, ain't no need of doing it. Are y'all listening to me? God's going to send your enemies back to you when he knows your energy, your spirit, your attitude is going to be a representation of who he is. And until then, nah. In fact, not only are your enemies not coming back to you, they're going to start hating you more. This is why some of your enemies are acting worse and not acting better. I don't have time, man. I don't have time. I might just need to teach on this Tuesday. The reason why some of your enemies are acting worse and not better is because of you. It ain't got nothing to do with them. What you are getting from them is a mirror reflection of what you are. What you are getting from them is a mirrored reflection of what you are doing. And if you want your enemies to act better, you act better. Woo! If you want your enemies to act better, you act better. Stop asking God to fix them. Ask God to fix you. And when you fix you, they'll be fixed. Let God arise, my enemies scatter. Y'all, let's pray. Yeah, I gotta stop. I'm out of time, not out of word. We'll pick up here. I might deal with this enemies thing Tuesday because some of y'all really need this because some of y'all delusional. Some of y'all delusional and you praying delusional prayers. God, fix my enemies. Man, stop that. You asking God to fix your enemies and your attitude is just as bad as it could be. Y'all stop. Don't nobody want to be around you. Don't nobody want to be in your group at church. Don't nobody want to work with you at work. Don't nobody want to be around you with your funky, raggedy attitude. And then you got the audacity to ask God to fix your enemies. God will never answer that prayer. I said it. Pastor, don't ever say ever. Don't never say never. Never. Pastor, you can never say never. Never. God will never fix your enemies with that kind of attitude. So you might as well just stop praying the prayer. I'm telling you now, if you are praying the prayer for God to fix your enemies and your attitude is raggedy, stop praying. I said it. Stop praying it. Fix your attitude. They not the problem. You're the problem. Because everything you're getting from your enemies is a reflection of what you are. Everything you're getting from people that's getting on your nerves is a reflection of what you are. Any prayer requests? If anybody has a prayer request, let's pray. This is a good time to pray. Y'all quiet. Y'all, that must mean y'all listening. If you've got a prayer request, I want you to type your prayer request in the comments. I want you to know I'm up 4:15 in the mornings, 4:30 at the latest. Pray over your prayer requests. Pray over the things concerning you, concerning your family, your careers, your relationships, your health, your well-being, whatever it is. And I want you to know I'm praying for you. If you've got a prayer request that we can see, feel free to type it in the comments now. I like to glance at them at this part of the message. If you've got a prayer request that is too personable, you can type your prayer request or email your prayer request to info@rehabcc.org, subject line prayer request. Make sure the subject line says prayer request. That's very important so that those emails can automatically be routed to my inbox. All right. Subject line prayer request. Put it in the comment. Type your email, subject line prayer request, send it to info@rehabcc.org. I would love to pray for you in your situation all week long. All right. Come on, put your prayer requests in. I'm starting to see them coming. I'm praying for your son's husband, healing, good, better health, family, pastor, friends, prosperity, peace of mind, family, healing, health. A lot of prayers for healing. So many of you are dealing with some health issues. And I want you to know that I'm praying for you. And even some of these weeks I'm fasting for you. I don't announce when I fast all the time. It's rare when I do that because I don't like to draw attention to that. But I want you to know that I'm praying for you. I'm praying for your situation, your health situation, your mental situation, your family situations, your relationship situations, healing in every area of your life. The reality is God not only wants you to be spiritually strong, he wants you to be healthy. He wants you to be healthy emotionally. He wants you to be healthy spiritually. He wants you to be healthy financially. He wants you to be healthy in every area of your life. And I want you to know that I'm praying for that God's going to, in fact, heal you. And he's going to give you the greatest testimony that you could ever imagine. And I know I'm speaking to so many of you because so many of you are dealing with some issues involving healing, involving your health, involving your well-being. But I want you to know that God's answering your prayers. He's doing it. I really believe that. And I want you to be encouraged. All right. I want you to be encouraged. Thank you so much. Thank you for your prayers. Those of you that are praying for me, I really appreciate it. Certainly praying for your healing, your health, all of you that are dealing with health issues. And I want you to receive it. I like that, Dr. Vance. I want you to receive it. God's going to work it out. He's going to give you a testimony like no other. And we believe that. Listen, y'all, after you've typed your prayer request, do me a favor. Clasp your hands like this as a sign of symbol of faith. I want you to put your hands together like this as a sign of symbol of faith. Clasp them together. as if we are holding hands, because we're getting ready to pray. We're getting ready to touch and agree. And I want you to clasp your hands as a symbol of faith, believing that God's going to answer prayers. All right. Would you do that for me? We're getting ready to pray. Let's pray together. Father, in Jesus' name, I thank you today for your word. Thank you for this very important time of sharing and gathering you've given us. I pray that something was said through this word, through this message, that has encouraged somebody, that has convicted somebody, that has challenged somebody to be everything that you've called them to be and more. God, thank you for the lessons on fear and courage and leadership and maturity that you've lifted out through this series on David and Goliath. Help us, God, to walk in great maturity. Help us, God, to walk emotionally centered, not to get too high, too low, too emotional, too logical, but to toe the line in the middle so that we are consumable by people, so that people want to be around us, people want to engage with us. And most importantly, so that our enemies see that you live in us and they want to bless us. We thank you, God, for your word. I pray now, God, for every prayer request that's come across this line. We lift up right now every single prayer request that's come through this line, that's been typed in the comments, that will be typed during the replay. For those that are watching the replay, every prayer request that's been emailed to our inbox, we lift it up to you, God. I ask now, God, not for me, but God, I ask that you would answer the prayers of your people, that you would make ways as only you can, that you would meet needs as only you can, that you would heal bodies as only you can, that you would fix family situations as only you can, that God, you would touch minds and hearts and spirits as only you can. And God, let this be a week that is filled with testimonies. Let this be a week that is filled with miracles and open doors, new possibilities, new opportunities. Let Friday get here and we be able to testify that this was a week where the miraculous happened. This was a week where our bodies started feeling better. This was a week where emotionally we felt stronger. This is a week where our courage was at the forefront of everything we did. God, let this be a week filled with testimonies, miracles, that you've been with us and that you've made a way for us. And God, we will continue to give your name glory, honor, and praise. In Jesus' name, amen. Listen, I want you to type in the comments right now. If you prayed that prayer of faith with me, put it in the comments right now. It is so. It is so. It is so. Come on, do it quickly. It is so. If you prayed that prayer of faith, I want you to type in the comments right now. It is so. It is so. It is so. Come on, do it quickly. It is so. It is so. Every time you say amen, you're simply saying it is so. Every time you say amen, you are simply saying it is so. Amen, the translation means it is so. It is done. I want you to type it in the comments now. It is so. God's answering your prayers. God's going to make a way for you. God's going to meet a need for you. And I want you to walk in that today. I want you to be encouraged today and know that he's going to do exactly what you prayed for. He's going to make it happen for you. Now, you got one job. Don't focus on everybody else. Don't focus on what everybody else is doing. Don't focus on what everybody else is not doing. Don't even focus on your enemies and God fixing them, fixing your family, fixing folk that don't like you. Don't worry about that. Your job is to work on you. Search me, Lord. Right? The old Baptist song says, search me, Lord. And if you find anything that should not be, take it out. Strengthen me. It's a powerful song because it is a reminder that our prayers ultimately ought to be about us. Listen, if there's anybody on the line that wants to be saved today, if there's anybody on the line that wants to dedicate their life to Christ, Romans 10:9 tells us that if we confess with our mouths, believe with our hearts that Jesus Christ is who he is and did what he did for us, we are saved. It is a matter of confession. Being right with God is not a matter of perfection. It's a matter of confession. And Romans 10:9 reminds us of that very important fact. If you want to be saved today, if you want to dedicate your life to Christ, I want you to stop what you're doing. If you're at brunch, put the bacon and the hashed potatoes down. Put down the biscuit. Put down the pancakes. Y'all can tell Pastor hungry. If you're at the beach, sit up in the chair right now. If you're about to go to the pool, I want you to stop what you're doing. If you want to be saved, I want you to stop what you're doing right now. If you're driving, pull over, because I need you to repeat this prayer of faith with me, because God wants to save you right where you are. Are you ready? Repeat this prayer of faith with me. Say this: I'm a sinner. I'm not perfect. I've made some mistakes. I have some flaws, and I even have some failures. But I do believe that Jesus Christ was born of a virgin, lived on this earth just like I'm living. He suffered, bled, and died on the cross. But 3 days later, rose again for my sins. Because he lives, I can live, and I am saved. My friends, if you prayed that prayer of faith, I want to welcome you to the royal family of Jesus Christ. You've made one of the best decisions you could have ever made, and that is in giving your life back to him. Now, do me a favor. Go find your church home somewhere. Churches are starting to open back up. Many of them have opened back up. Some of them have not. Find your church home somewhere. Be a part of that ministry, whether it's face-to-face or virtually. Be a part of that ministry. Dedicate your time, talent, and treasure to that ministry. Grow in the faith in that ministry. Make sure it's a Bible teaching, Bible believing, Bible preaching ministry that believes in sowing back into people, sowing back into the community. Go be a part of that ministry. If you're tuned in today, and Rehab is the place for you. Maybe you've watched this broadcast and you want to be a part of the Rehab Christian Center. Pastor, I don't live in Greensboro. That's fine. We got members that live in California. We have members that live in Atlanta. We have members everywhere. The virtual space has really afforded us the ability to be innovative. Maybe you're listening to this broadcast and you want to be a part of the Rehab Christian Center. Do me a favor. Just simply type in the comments, membership, hashtag membership. And somebody, one of our faithful moderators will reach out to you, get your contact information, get information from you, and we will gladly welcome you to the Rehab Christian Center. All right. So just simply type in the comments, hashtag membership, and somebody will reach out to you, get your information, and we would love to welcome you to not the largest church on the planet. We're not the biggest church, but we are by far the nicest church on the planet, the Rehab Christian Center, and would love to walk alongside you on this journey that is your life and your spiritual growth and development. All right. So make sure you do that if you want to be a part of what we're doing, and we would love to partner alongside with you. Listen, y'all, let me challenge you to give quickly. Really quickly, because I've run way over. I want to challenge you to give today. If this message, this ministry, this broadcast has been a blessing to you, I want to challenge you to give. You can give one of three ways. You can give via CashAPP at $REHABCCGIVE. That's CashAPP at $REHABCCGIVE. You can give through our website, www.rehabcc.org. That's www.rehabcc.org, and simply choose online giving. Or you can text REHABWORKS. Text REHABWORKS to 88202. That's REHABWORKS to 88202. And right to your cell phone, you'll see a prompt. You click on that link and you can give right from your cell phone without having to go anywhere else or log in anywhere else. You can give right from there. But I want to challenge you to give. We are a ministry that believes in tithing and giving. And it's through tithes and offering that we were able to feed over 20,000 people in less than 7 years. Not with loans, not with grants, none of that stuff, but simply because we give. And one of the beautiful and exciting things about eventually getting back in the building is being able to return back to some form of outreach. And I know our members are really looking forward to that. And so this is all possible because of your giving. And so I want to challenge you to give, even as we're preparing to get some things prepared in the space. I want to really challenge you today more than ever to give. And I promise you, God's going to bless you in a tremendous, significant way. Again, you can give via CashAPP, $REHABCCGIVE. That's $REHABCCGIVE. You can give through our website, www.rehabcc.org. That's www.rehabcc.org. Or you can give through your cell phone by texting REHABWORKS. Text REHABWORKS to 88202. Again, text REHABWORKS to 88202. You should get a ping back, follow those instructions, and you can give right from your cell phone. But we know God will bless you in a tremendous way. How? Good measure, pressed down, shaking together, running over. He's going to send somebody to be a blessing to you because of the way that you've given to us. And so I want to challenge you to give today. And again, I want to thank you in advance for how you've given and how you continue to support our ministry. Listen, y'all, I love y'all. I'm praying for y'all. I'm rooting for you. Do me a favor. If you have not liked this video, this broadcast, I want you to like it. If you're watching the replay, I'm going to challenge you to not only like this video, but tag 5 people. Tell them to go back and watch the replay of this very powerful message. If you're scared, get in my pocket. I hope it was a blessing to somebody. And then make plans to meet me this Tuesday, 7:08 p.m. for life study. This Tuesday, 7:08 p.m. for life study. And I'm excited to be with you. It's the last Tuesday in October. Y'all, next Sunday is Halloween. It's crazy. The year of 2021 is really moving by fast. And this is going to be the last Tuesday in October. Next Sunday is going to be the last Sunday in October. We're going to be in the 11th month of the year. So I want to challenge all of you to tune in this Tuesday at 7:08 p.m. for life study. Again, go back and watch this replay. I promise you it will bless you. And again, thank you so much tremendously for your support. Listen, y'all, I love y'all. I'm praying for y'all. I'm rooting for y'all. Have a fantastic Sunday. And I will make plans to see you this Tuesday at 7:08 p.m. for life study. All right. Love you. Praying for you. Peace and blessings.
Thank you for watching the Rehab Christian Center live experience. If this broadcast has been a blessing to you and you would like to be a blessing to our leader, Dr. Zeb Talley III, you can sow a seed into his ministry by Cash App at $Pastor ZT3. It is our prayer that this message of hope encouraged, enlightened, and empowered you to be better. Please tune in Tuesday at 7:08 p.m. for our life study experience. And as always, be blessed and have a wonderful week.